Energy can be generated from many different sources. Some of these sources are non-renewable, meaning that they cannot be replaced or replenished quickly and are being used more quickly than they are being replenished. Other resources are renewable. These resources are either used at the same rate they are replenished or can be replenished and replaced during a relatively short period of time. First, let's focus on non-renewable energy sources. As I already mentioned, these resources are being used much more quickly than they can be replaced. These resources take millions of years to create. Non-renewable energy sources include fossil fuels and nuclear energy. Fossil fuels include coal, petroleum, and natural gas. They are made from the remnants of once living organisms. Let's start with coal. Coal is a combustible black or dark brown rock that consists mostly of carbonized plant matter. It is typically found underground. Coal is formed when dead plant matter is turned into peat. Peat is converted to coal by the application of heat and pressure over millions of years. Currently, the main function of coal, when it comes to energy, is to produce electricity. However, historically coal was used to power steam locomotive engines, steamboats, and even automobiles. Coal used to produce energy or electricity is known as steam coal or thermal coal. Coal plants produce electricity by burning the coal to produce steam. Coal is placed in a boiler. The heat produced by the burning coal boils water, which produces steam. The steam is under pressure and turns a turbine. The turbine spins a generator, which produces electricity. Coal is also used for other purposes. Coking coal, or metallurgical coal, is used in steel production. Steel production adds carbon to iron to make an alloy, steel. Coal is also used for activated carbon. Activated carbon is found in water and air purification systems. It is also used in kidney dialysis machines. Coal can be used to create carbon fiber and silicon metals. The advantages of using coal include it is a reliable and affordable energy source, and it is easy to burn. The disadvantages include it is a non-renewable resource, it produces a large amount of carbon dioxide and other pollutants, and mining for coal damages the environment. Next, let's look at petroleum, or oil. Petroleum is a liquid mixture of hydrocarbons present in certain rock layers that can be extracted and refined to produce fuels. Petroleum can also be referred to as oil, but typically oil is defined as a derivative of petroleum. Petroleum is formed when decaying organic matter is trapped between layers of rock. Heat and pressure convert the decaying organic matter into a viscous, liquid substance that has many hydrocarbons. Petroleum is distilled into many different products, including gasoline, distillates such as diesel fuel and heating oil, jet fuel or kerosene, petrochemical feedstocks, waxes, lubricating oils, and asphalt. The boiling point of the different products allow crude oil to be distilled into a variety of products that have many uses. Petroleum or oil-based products are used for transportation, heat production, electricity generation, making roads, synthesizing chemicals, and making plastics. The advantages of petroleum include it being an abundant energy source. Its liquid form makes it easy to transport and use. It has a high heating value, and it is relatively inexpensive. The disadvantages of petroleum include that burning oil or its products produces carbon emissions, oil is a finite resource, and oil recovery processes are not extremely efficient. Another couple of disadvantages include that drilling oil endangers the environment and ecosystems, and that oil spills cause severe ecological and environmental damage. The last fossil fuel is natural gas. Natural gas is a flammable gas consisting of large amounts of methane and other hydrocarbons used as a fuel. Like petroleum, natural gas is formed by decaying organic matter trapped between layers of rock. Natural gas consists of more volatile hydrocarbons than oil. Natural gas is used for electricity generation as a heat source, cooking, fuel for vehicles, the manufacture of plastics, and the manufacture of organic chemicals. The advantages of natural gas include that it produces lower carbon emissions, is a reliable source of energy, and it is relatively inexpensive. The disadvantages include that it can release toxic chemicals when extracted incorrectly, it is non-renewable, and it can cause environmental damage. Nuclear energy is a non-renewable energy that is not produced from fossil fuels. Nuclear energy is the use of nuclear reactions to create electricity. Nuclear reactions, such as nuclear fission, produce heat. The heat is used to heat water, which produces steam. The steam is used to turn turbines, which powers a generator. The generator produces electricity. Most nuclear energy is produced from the fission or splitting of uranium atoms. The advantage of nuclear energy is that it is an efficient form of electricity production that leads to low cost. It releases few greenhouse gases and has a low environmental impact if proper safety precautions are followed. The disadvantage is that it produces radioactive or nuclear waste, which must be disposed of carefully so that it does not create radiation poisoning or endanger the environment. Nuclear disasters are large and long-lasting, making nuclear power plants key targets for terrorist attacks. Non-renewable energy sources are used for many things, including electricity generation, heat generation, transportation, and the manufacture of products such as plastics. Disadvantages of non-renewable energy sources include that they are a finite resource, often produce greenhouse gases, and they can be damaging to the environment. The advantages of non-renewable energy sources are that they are reliable sources of energy, are relatively inexpensive, and new technology is not needed for electricity generation. Next, we are going to discuss renewable energy. Remember that renewable energy sources are sources that can be replenished within a lifetime or are replenished at the same rate in which they are used. Let's look at solar energy. Electricity is generated using solar energy when sunlight hits solar panels. The photovoltaic cells in solar panels convert light energy into electricity. The advantages of solar energy include that it produces no greenhouse gases, it reduces dependence on fossil fuels, is a renewable energy source, and can even generate electricity on cloudy days. The disadvantages of solar energy include that it cannot produce electricity at night, the entrance costs are high because the initial investment is high, photovoltaic cells are inefficient, and there are issues with storing excess energy for later use. Next, let's look at wind energy. Wind energy harnesses kinetic energy to produce electricity. The air currents in the wind turn turbines, which power a generator that produces electricity. The advantages of wind energy are that it produces no greenhouse gases, it is mostly environmentally friendly, and is a renewable energy source. The disadvantages include a high initial cost, limited technology, and visual pollution. Another renewable energy source is hydroelectric power. Hydroelectric power uses water to produce electricity. Hydroelectric power is generated when water passes through a dam and turns a turbine. The turbine powers a generator which produces electricity. The advantages of hydroelectric power are that it is renewable, it produces no greenhouse gases, and it is reliable. The disadvantages include disrupting the biodiversity of the river that is dammed, and building dams and hydroelectric power plants is expensive. Geothermal energy is another form of renewable energy. Geothermal energy uses steam produced by the heat of the earth. The steam is put under pressure and it turns a turbine. This turbine powers a generator that produces electricity. Geothermal energy can also be used for HVAC systems. These systems use the temperature of the ground to heat or cool fluids that are attached to a heat pump. The advantages of geothermal energy is that it is renewable and has a small land footprint. The disadvantages are that it is a heavy upfront cost and it is extremely location specific. The last type of renewable energy we are going to discuss is biomass. Biomass is energy produced by plants. Excess materials from crops and dead trees can be used as a fuel source. Crops such as corn and soybeans can be used to produce ethanol, which can be used as a fuel source in a power plant. Ethanol production can be converted to fuel for transportation. The advantages of biomass are that it is a renewable energy source. Biomass is not instantly renewable, but crops can be grown every year. Other advantages include that it is carbon neutral, cost-effective, and an abundant source of energy. Disadvantages are that the extraction of energy can be expensive and biomass requires a lot of space. Advantages of renewable energy sources are that they are not finite, they are environmentally friendly, and can reduce overall carbon emissions. Disadvantages are that there is a high cost of entry as many renewable energy systems are expensive to install, some are location specific, and more technology is needed to make renewable energy gathering more efficient.